what's my
With
pen?
you holding
Is
your
it her?
daughter saying, this is my duty now.
Yeah, that's her. Now she got it's 8 years later, but I feel like a twin. Now we got the young baby. So
What did the loyalty, I guess, that the Lions showed you, getting that deal done and making it, so significant mean after what you put in and coming back here in the season you had?
yeah, it definitely means a lot. I spent so many years of my life here now. It's kind of really starting to feel like home, and raising a family here is definitely great not to have to move again.
How different does it feel, just the success you guys had? We talked about hadn't had a playoff game last time you were up to this podium. The expectation level going into next season, is that a different vibe for you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a different vibe. You can feel it just walking around and stuff. Around the city. But I think it'll be fun once to see when everyone gets back. Kind of our approach to every day and kind of keeping that standard high. I feel like we've always had a high standard, but it's going to be, even more this year. So I'm definitely excited for it.
And within that, the stability in the linebacker room, I think almost all those guys are back, just to have that year-to-year continuity. What does that mean to a position group?
It's definitely been great. Coming back and gaining a relationship with Malcolm after leaving and seeing him, and then Jack coming in. It was definitely for me coming back in, just right where I left off. I think we're gonna be missing Pitt this year. I think he just signed with Washington, so shout out to Pitt. He's been here for 5 years now, so it's been great playing with him also.
What do you make of the defensive moves? I mean, it seems like the front office is really targeting that, right? 2 defensive linemen, 2 cornerbacks so far. How does that help you guys be better?
Yeah, I think it'd be good. I feel like everyone's always just kind of rolling in the same direction here, and can't wait to get those guys on board, and everyone to start putting that work in together, and try to take it further than we did last year.
I wanted to ask you about the NFLPA presidency, and it seems like a very cool honor. Just can you explain your track to that path where you became interested in kind of advocating for player rights, and maybe who mentors or whatever that got you to this point?
Yeah, I would say the earliest I would just give credit to some of the veterans that were here when I was a rookie, who kind of just made me go to the meeting and just sit down and listen. Mainly Mulebach, but always talking to him, and him keeping me engaged. And I just think over the years it kind of grew to listening to speaking up more. And then the previous 2 years I've been on the executive committee, so I've been kind of got to see everything at a deeper level, and watch our previous president, J.C. Treader, see how he kind of works and operates, and communicates with the guys. And I felt like it was time for me to try to take the next step, and luckily I was elected.
Was there some issue that you were particularly passionate about as a young guy, or something that you saw happen that sort of pushed you to keep?
I would say as a young guy, I would say first coming in the league, there was a lot of social justice stuff that was going on, and I would say that's when I kind of started to use my voice within the team, and talking about those things. But really, as far as the PA goes, I was just I didn't want to be one of the guys who kind of complained about stuff like why do we not have this, or why do we not have that. I just kind of wanted to use my voice to start taking some accountability and some ownership, and speaking up and trying to kind of be more more player forward with everything. And I just kind of took those steps up, and here I am.
What do you think the biggest issues are that the NFLPA faces right now going forward?
I don't know a specific issue. I would say for me, I just want to make sure the players stay engaged, and kind of just be kind of like an amplifier for the players' voices. I always try to iterate to the guys that we are the union. We have staff members, we have an executive director, but the players are the union. So that's kind of what I've always pushed the guys to kind of take ownership of.
Obviously, around this time, you hear a lot of players, getting extensions, but you got to see the head coach and the general manager get extensions. I guess for y'all as players, the significance of this day doing this, what did that mean for y'all as well, just seeing that as well?
Yeah, I think it really speaks to the stability, and how much confidence they have, or how much confidence Sheila has in Dan and Brad, and I think it's dope for sure. They're getting a little bit richer, so.
Within making sure players have a voice, the survey has been a pretty talked about thing the last 2 years. How have you seen that, I guess, from the executive role that you were in, just the impact of that in buildings with some of those results?
I think it's been great. I think it's one of the times you actually get honest answers from the players. Everyone knows it's anonymous, and we have so many guys filling it out. But I do definitely think there's this there's kind of like when your boss asks you a question, you usually not gonna be 100% honest with them straight to their face. So, I think kind of having like the surveys where it's anonymous, like guys can really get into a little bit more detail of how they feel about things, and it shows who's going in the right direction and who has some slack to pick up, and hopefully we keep going with it and keep developing, and hopefully all the 32 NFL teams are the best places in America to work.
The issues JC was pretty vocal about was grass fields, instead of turf. Do you have any thoughts on just how realistic that might be? Obviously, Dome's in northern climates, it's maybe not, I don't know, tougher to do, but.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a realistic thing. And we see, like, right now they're changing all the fields for soccer to come over, and soccer players don't play on turf. And I think it's definitely a thing that can happen, and it's proven to be a safer and healthier option. And I think as times go on, we've put player safety, health and safety to the forefront, and I think that the field surface that we play on plays a huge part in that.
You were one of the most consistent players on the team last year. We hear so much from guys about consistency and how difficult it is. What did you learn about being consistent last year, and I guess how do you take that from being week in, week out to year type of thing?
Sorry, I'm getting distracted by over here laughing. But I would say, like, speaking to consistency of last year, it was kind of like the stakes got higher every time. I mean, we started off obviously on the stage in the first game, and then once those wins started building, it was just like a little bit more pressure. Like, okay, we gotta do that. It felt like if we lost a game, then everything they were going to say, the team's a fluke, or they're not. We had a stretch where we were kind of squeaking by on some wins, and we had a loss, and now it's they aren't for real. Like, this is the same old Lions, and then I think we just persevered and kept playing, kept going to work every day, and I think that's where we're about here. Like, we never really had a lot of like flashy guys, flashy players. Like, everyone comes in, we go to work, we have a good time in the locker room, and we go out on Sunday and we play our ass off, and I just think that's what we're about.
One more on the PA stuff. Just how much are guys already thinking about the battle ahead with the 18th game? I mean, it seems like that's kind of one of maybe the next big issues facing the two sides.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people are kind of running with it right now because I don't know, it slipped out there, but I think there's a lot of other things to gain, and when that time comes, we'll address that.
You kind of get labeled as a special teamer a lot, and obviously that's your primary role here, but you forged a pretty significant defensive role last year. Do you take offense, I guess, to people labeling you a special teamer sometimes?
I really don't care. Like, I mean, it's funny, like, not to go too far back, but when I was at Tennessee, we had, like, it's obviously SEC big time football, and you win, you would get the best articles written about you, or you lose, you get the worst articles written about you. And it didn't take long for me to realize, like, it don't matter what anyone says. Like, I'm just going to come in and go to work every day and, do what I've been doing. And I kind of just taken that approach throughout my whole career. So, I truly don't care.
Sort of question for you, too. What are your, I don't know, plans beyond football, I guess? Like, do you have political aspirations, or is this a leadership position that can help you run a company one day? What do you want to do with it, I guess?
I wouldn't say I have a real plan. I've thought about things, and but I don't really have a true plan. I obviously think this is something that will help me grow as a leader, and maybe my managerial skills, and we'll see how it goes from there. But I don't know. I'm just going with the flow right now.
Can you share some of the things you thought of?
I've thought about being a scout. I've thought about working for the union. Over the last 2 years, while I was on the executive committee, we did a search for our executive director, and I thought that was pretty fun, kind of like basically doing like executive searches. So that's kind of the newest thing that I've been like, oh, maybe that might be interesting, but I don't know. I guess it depends how long I play, how much money I make playing, and what's the state of my family at the time. So.
Did you have a role then in picking Lloyd? I mean, was that like, what was your role in that?
Yeah, so I was on the executive committee, so we kind of basically were in charge of like basically doing a whole search, like seeing who's qualified candidates, interviewing people, Zooms, in-persons. It was a lot to think about. Whatever it takes to hire someone is kind of like from top to bottom. I was, part of that process.
Congratulations,
before you
gentlemen.
open your own?
Thank you.
Certainly.